Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make DJ Catnip from Gabby's Dollhouse out of gum paste. And if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you need any tools or supplies you see me use, check the link in the description below. Now to begin our DJ Catnip, we are going to start with his legs. We're going to start at the bottom and kind of build our way up. So I've got 4 lollipop sticks. They're 8-inch sticks that I cut in half. And I am wrapping some very light purple gum paste around each one, kind of in the middle. I'm trying to make it so it's a little bit fatter at the bottom than it is at the top, because his legs are kind of tentacly, I guess you could say. So I'm trying to make it look a little bit more like that rather than just regular old kitty cat paws and legs. So anything extra or too thick, as you see, I'm just trimming off with my knife. So I have 4 pretty even size legs on sticks, and I have a piece of styrofoam that I'm sticking them all into, so they're nice and secure. Now I'm going to start wrapping them in their bands of color. The one leg I'm going to wrap in a light blue and yellow stripe of gum paste, and this is all gum paste. I think I said that, but I want him to dry. I want it solid and firm and not moving, so I am using gum paste with this. I would not use fondant with this unless you add some Tylo's powder or something to it. The next leg I am adding a stripe of light blue and light pink. As you can see, I'm just rolling everything out nice and thin, cutting a long skinny little rectangle and just wrapping it around. This one is also pink at the bottom. The fatter part you can see is at the bottom, the yellow at the top. Use a little bit of water to make sure everything stays in place. This leg has a stripe of light blue and then a stripe of dark blue on it, which is kind of hard to see, but when you see them next to each other, you can see a little bit better what I was trying to do. There, you can see the difference there, right? So the bottom one is a little bit darker. So again, just trim off the extra. Make sure you have sticking nice and in place with some water. Try to make it as skinny as possible. There you go. You got your 4 legs all wrapped up in their little stripes of color. All right, now we're going to move on to his body. I'm going to roll out some hot pink, and I'm cutting a circle that's wider than the legs by, a good little bit. I want it to overhang his legs because it looks like, again, his legs are kind of tentacly and come out from the bottom of him, almost like an octopus or a jellyfish. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I've got another ball of pink that I rolled out, as you saw, and I pressed it flat. And this is going to give that effect that he has in the middle of his stomach, where it kind of like tucks in where the hem of the sweatshirt is, and it tucks in where the head of the cat is. Now to make DJ Catnip's face, I'm starting with basically a patty of purple, light purple, same as the legs, and it's flat on the bottom there and rounded on the top. That's just holding it up to the body to see that it is enormous enough, because his head is enormous. Enormous. It's so big. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, I'm taking some of that hot pink and I have it as another kind of like a big bowl sort of shape. I'm pinching off a couple of ears at the top, and now I'm using just the end of my little small rolling pin, and I'm hollowing it out just a little bit, and I'm using my fingers to kind of pinch and cup around so it really brings the lip up, so it really becomes more like a bowl. It's still very thick on the back. It's still pretty rounded on the back too. You can kind of see it right there when I was just trying to smooth off the back a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see it. And the idea is I'm going to now put the purple face into this little kind of recess I made. See? And I'm just going to very nicely and gently wrap the pink around it. So now the hood of the sweatshirt is kind of wrapped around the cat's face, and you still have the look of the cat's face being nice and round and coming out from it. So it all just comes together perfectly. I'm using my rolling pin a little bit here and there between the ears to make sure it's all nice and smooth. Make sure I have the nice shape of the ears going. And I am happy with it. I gotta say, I'm liking how this was coming out. I'm using a couple of my different ball tools here just to hollow out 2 spots for the eyes. The eyes are kind of oblong. They're not perfectly round, and they sit kind of high in his head too. They're not centered. So make sure you're a little careful, where you put the eyes. I'm just making them a little bigger, kind of bringing it down in the front because his cat eyes are a little bit kind of pointed in the center. And you're going to see me just kind of widen it and shape it because right now it's like, ooh, they're just all different shapes and directions and everything. So wiggle, wiggle, up and down, back and forth, up and down, back and forth, and then they become more uniform. Once I have the eye sockets hollowed out, we may as well just fill it all in. So I'm taking some of my white gum paste, just making a couple little pellets out of them, fill it in so that the eye sockets are not overflowing, but they're full. Just using my ball tool again to smooth it out, make sure it's all in properly. And then I'm going to add the cat's irises. I couldn't, from the pictures I was looking at, it looks like DJ Catnip's eyes are actually more of a gray color. So I'm using some gray gum paste, which you can't even tell. It all looks black. I can see here in my recording. But it's gray, and I put 2 black pupils on top of it. So now it looks like I layered black, but I didn't. It's gray and black on top of each other. Now I'm going to add the stripes to DJ's face. I am having some dark purple that I rolled kind of into a tic tac, and now I'm just rolling it really long. I'm pressing in on the sides to make it as thin as I want. Now I'm going to cut off a end of it, and then I have my nice cat stripe. It's nice and round on the end and flat, so it's going to go right up perfectly to the hood. If it's still a little too thick like this one was, I'm just trimming it oh so carefully. And then a little bit of water and put it in its place. And now rinse and repeat. You're going to keep doing this. He has 2 cheek stripes on each cheek. And then he has 1 big stripe in the middle of his forehead with 2 smaller ones on either side. So that's what I'm doing. Lots of rolling out little tic tacs into big, long, flat hot dog shapes. Cutting them, making sure they are the right size. If they're too fat, trim them down, press them down a little bit. Put a little bit of water on them, just a little bit. Otherwise, they're going to slip and slide all over the cat's face. And then, oh so carefully put them into place. Make sure they're nice and even, nice and lined up. Make sure the bottom of the stripe tucks into the hood. And there you go. Okay, now a little bit of light blue in the very thin triangle shape goes between the eyes, and that's his nose. So that's nice and easy, nothing special there. And now I'm going to attach the body to the legs. So remember I said I used a circle that was slightly wider than all the legs there? This is why. When you put it on, he's going to look kind of like a jellyfish, and that's okay. Although right now it looks more like a bar stool. Really stripy, colorful bar stool. And the leg fell off, but that's all right. Little water holds it in place. So there you go. Just press your lollipop sticks up into the body. It is perfectly fine. In fact, I think it's desirable to have it come through the top a little bit. So that will help anchor the head when we put that into place. I'm just putting it on for size. This is not done yet. So just so you had the idea of it there. All right, now I'm going to make DJ Catnip's tail. It's just like the legs. So you got your purple, your light purple color that you roll out so it's a little fatter and kind of clubbed at the end. I'm doing a stripe of light blue at the end that I, wrap around a little bit of water. I'm going to do a stripe of yellow up near the base of the tail. Same idea, nice thin, little bit of water. You know this part by now. And I'm going to attach this though with a piece of dried spaghetti rather than a lollipop stick. So once you get it to the nice size and thickness, then you trim off the end, skewer it on your piece of dried spaghetti, and then break it off, maybe an inch. Maybe so that you have an inch of it coming out of the tail. I'm using just a pilot stick there, just a plain old stick, in order to make a pilot hole so that my tail will slide right on in and I won't damage the tail itself. You see? Goes in, no problems, looking like a very colorful bar stool, which I'm going to assume is what we want. Now you can see his head sitting on top, not too shabby. I'm going to show you now how I made the patch. You might have noticed it was already on his little sweatshirt, and I took it off because I did a little more research. I realized it's a cat shape, not a pouch with like a flap on the front. So I trimmed off the corners and hollowed the top a little, you see? Make a little kitty cat face. Now, speaking of kitty cat faces, I'm using my black edible food coloring marker to just make your quintessential cat face on him. I messed it up a bit, so I had to fix it with my water and a piece of paper towel, which I didn't bother showing, because in my world, I do everything perfectly the first time. See? Doesn't look like I do it that way. Stick his head right on top. And now I'm going to add a couple little grommet holes for his strings on his hoodie, just like that, just a couple of yellow balls of gum paste just pressed on there. And now I'm going to add the pizzazz to the hoodie itself. I wasn't sure what to do with this, so I just tried something and it came out cute. You know, it's not great, but it came out cute. I painted him in water with my paintbrush, as you can see what I'm doing there. And then I have some pink crystal sprinkles, and I'm just dabbing my finger into it, and of course it sticks a little bit, and then patting it onto the hoodie. And the water that's sticking to the gum paste of the hoodie is trapping the crystals. So anywhere it's too dry, I just paint some more water on. And then I pat, 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 and tap, 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 and paint, 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 and just keep on doing it over and over and over until he's got some sparkle everywhere you look. So I just keep on going. And like I said, this is just something I tried. It definitely made him sparkly. Like, I'm happy with it, no doubt. I feel like maybe if I had some pink shimmer, that would have come out nicer, so he wouldn't be quite so chunky looking. You know, it would be much smoother if I had some pink shimmer, which I don't. Otherwise, I would have used that. But this isn't too bad, I gotta say. It really isn't bad. So if you do use this method, then make sure you go all around the hoodie. You get in the front, you get underneath. Be careful not to get the yellow little grommet holes. You want to go over the pocket. You want to make sure the front of the hoodie, you know, right up against his head, all the way up against his head, is covered with sparkles. Anything extra, I'm just brushing off with a clean, dry paintbrush. I'm just very gently brushing off. And then, yeah, now he's sparkly. I'm just taking some black gum paste now that I rolled out super skinny. I just rolled it between my fingers, and I'm putting it up to the little pieces of yellow to be the strings of his hoodie coming out. Just kind of press them into place like so, and they're free hanging. There you go, there's that. And now I'm using some pink food coloring and some water to make a little blush of pink on his cheeks. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I feel like because he's so purple, it loses the pink color and it looks more like, you know, purple on his cheeks rather than pink. So maybe a couple circles of pink gum paste would have been better, just light pink. But anyway, here you go. Here's my DJ Catnip. So I hope you found this video helpful. Again, please like and subscribe because it does help me. I've got a ton of other videos out there, so please take a look at those, as well as Cakey Cat from Gabby's Dollhouse. And as always, guys, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.